Hello everyone. Today I will be drawing with and reviewing the Starjoy Gold Edition 120 colored pencil set. I first want to get into the subject of who I am drawing and who it's for. This is a character that belongs to Kai the Doodle Devil. It was for an art trade where I'm planning to make a video where my character reaches a certain amount of images and doing a bunch of art trades and whatnot with people. I thought his character would be a good demonstration for showing off the bright colors that the colored pencils reach in his character's color palette. And also, here's what he drew for me in return. I bought these because I thought they'd be a good substitution to Prismacolor, which if y'all don't know is a high quality colored pencil brand that is popular among artists, adult colorists, and literally goes for $1 per pencil if I recall correctly. I also do already happen to own a few Prismacolor colored pencils. I have a fun backstory about that. So my older sister got good grades in school and asked our mom for Prismacolor colored pencils, like in the 2000s or 2010s or something. She doesn't use them anymore and kind of vicariously lives through me as I carry out her artist dreams. But that's a long and personal story, just some context for why I already own some. And honestly, they're really good. I keep them with my labeled colored pencil boxes. I have a whole thing with unlabeled colored pencils. They tend to be much more cheaply and poorly produced compared to the labeled colored pencils. But that's besides the point. I was looking for a cheap enough dupe and I wasn't expecting it to be exactly like Prismacolor, but perhaps a budget high quality coloring pencil that's not Crayola or Crazy Art. Not to dog on these brands, but I wanted an immediate higher quality without using some sort of hack like petroleum jelly or hot water, especially since I do commissions with traditional art. And I would much rather prefer an expected and consistent quality compared to the sometimes unpredictable nature that the hacks that I use have. I saw Sarah Renee Clark discussing the best budget colored pencils, and she said her favorite was the Starjoy colored pencils, and the reviews others had seemed promising too. I'm not the kind of person who would dish out like $1 per colored pencil, unfortunately. Yes, the quality probably speaks for itself, but the margin of improvement and getting to a certain quality in my art, I thought in my mind, it could probably be reached with something else. So I caught a sale on Amazon where the pencils typically retail for $25 to $30. I happened to catch it for 15 bucks. And I had my eyes on these pencils for months. For months that I have spent pressing hard enough with Crayola pencil on top of markers and or paint. I was very excited to finally get my hands on these pencils, and when I got them, they came in this tin, and they have swatch cards. I haven't filled it all out yet, but I was not disappointed at all with what I got, and I just got what I expected. Cheaply priced budget colored pencil that performs really well, and I can expect myself to use these on commissions. I can expect realism artists, adult colorists, artists that draw stylized like me to enjoy this product. I'd say if you press a little harder, in my opinion, I can't tell the difference between Prismacolor and these pencils outside of that. I would say for weaker hands, I understand why people would spend more, but if you got some patience, these colored pencils are just as good in my opinion. I'm not an adult colorist that would notice the immediate difference or care for specific details like what paper, light fastness. If you need to know what kind of paper I use, I typically draw on computer paper and on the back of my cousin's graded homework for personal artwork and fan arts, a cardstock for commissions. So take what I say with a grain of salt and keep in mind what happens in this art process if you catch anything that doesn't fit with your ideals. But they do blend very well, and I'd recommend this to artists that do realism, need a cheap pencil that blends well, is pigmented, and is easier on the hands compared to Crayola and Crazy Art. For 12 cents a pencil compared to spending $1 per pencil, I'll personally take it, and I'll be using these on my commissions. Compared to my experiences using Crayola, I will say these pencils don't keep as a good sharp point. Also, this could be because I personally don't have a good sharpener at the moment. I'm uncertain if this has to do with the lead inside, or whatever the way the pencil is built compared to Crayola, or if I really did use the pencils that much. But a colored pencil goes a long way anyways. I see these lasting for my lifetime, so I don't mind, and if they ever get super short, I have pencil extenders anyways. If you're looking for a budget colored pencil, yes, I do recommend these. But also, this is my first time getting something like this outside of Crayola and Prismacolor. But if you already own Prismacolor or Crayola, you are valid within your right to use whatever works for you. What is accessible or what is higher quality, easier on your hands, manageable. Wouldn't recommend buying these unless you're certain you are going to use them regularly for your own enjoyment or even for work like art commissions or content. Catch a sale if you can, or a secondhand resale like I did. I still can't believe I got these for $15. Good art supplies like these didn't feel real when I was younger, and I often felt frustrated when I was doing traditional art. And overall, growing up, the traditional art supplies are bad when I really just had some cheap resources when I was younger. Now that I'm an adult and I do have the money and resources to research and buy the supplies I am interested in, I hope in the future I can share what I do like and what I would warn everyone about. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this educational or entertaining in some way. I appreciate the support. Here's the final artwork, and I hope you like.